So while going over activities, there were two different competencies that I feel like overall people were a little bit confused on or struggled with. And I want us to spend today just going over those two and practicing them again until we feel really comfortable because they are really important to working in this program well. And the first one was this idea of grouping and ungrouping. And so we're going to start off with that. A lot of people misunderstood the idea of selecting something as grouping it. For example, I could technically make a box around the seahorse and move it as an individual object all together, right? But that's not grouping. That's just moving an object all together. Because technically, if I click somewhere else and then I go to move something on the seahorse, what I've moved is a piece of the seahorse. To group something requires you to select it all, go up to Object and Group, or hit Control-G on your computer. And here's the difference. Even if I click away and I click back on the shape, the computer recognizes this as one group of images, meaning I can resize, all of them come together. I can transform, rotate, reflect, do any of those things. And that also means that if I accidentally color it, it will, ruin my image. But it makes moving things around so much more convenient. And so grouping is going to be where we focus on the first part of today. And literally all you're going to do is select each one of these objects and group them individually. So again, we're going to Object Group, and then bring it down and arrange it into a really nice underwater scene. You can make things larger, smaller, duplicate them, get really creative until all the sea creatures are in this layout. Then there's this idea of ungrouping, because sometimes you need to ungroup to take things apart. Let me show you the difference. When we ungroup, right, this has been grouped many times over to create this layout. We're going to go to the same place, Object, but this time we're going to hit Ungroup. Now we may need to do this more than once. See how I hit Ungroup, but these are all grouped together? I'm going to go to Object Ungroup one more time. And now each one of these should be on their own. And all I want you to do for this is take each piece of this and just move it down so we can see all the components. Now this guy still needs to be ungrouped one more time because his computer is still attached to his body. Now I think it's a little less, right? Because if you group things many times over, you have to ungroup them many times over. And when you have them all arranged down here, you're good. The second competency that people struggled with was this idea of aligning and distributing. I saw a lot of people manually doing this, where you're bringing this, and I think this is as close as this. That takes a lot of time. Nobody has all the time to do that. So let's make sure we use our align settings. I think it's helpful to have the window open for alignment. So let's go to Window, hit Align, have this whole box open. A reminder, to use aligning and distributing, you have to select all the shapes you're working with. You can align to the artboard, to the selection itself, or to a key object. Let's keep it simple and just align to the selection. First thing I want to do is line them all up so that they're evenly in the same location. So I'm going to align them to the bottom. Now they're all on the same bottom, but they're not evenly spaced. And this is where distributing is important. And if I want the space to be in between, even in this way, I'm going to hit Horizontal Distribute Center. If you're not sure what button to press, try one, and if it doesn't work, undo and do another. No big deal. Most of the time, though, we stick with these two center ones, either horizontal or vertical. So I'm going to hit horizontal, and now all of that's even, and it was two buttons. Same idea for this one. Select it all. I'm going to align them to their centers, and then I'm going to vertically distribute them. Okay, again, if you're not sure which one, try one button. Doesn't look good, undo. You're going to practice that with all these linear components here until they're all nice and neat. Do not do it by hand. Practice this skill.